Alright, so we are finishing up our final picks. The headset we use, I said Sennheiser PC320. How is Maokai in the jungle? Pretty mediocre, but I mean, if you play him well, he still is very, very viable. It's just, he gets really easily counter-jungled, he doesn't duel people well, he doesn't snowball that well. It's okay, it's just not the best. Alright, so we're going to go over final picks, bans, team comps, anything that we can offer advice on. So, blue team has picked up what appears to be a mid lane Heimerdinger, a top lane Ryze, a Vayne Braum bot lane, a Vi jungle, and have banned out Jax, Jinx, and Leona. I'm surprised they banned out Leona if they're planning to go for Braum. But maybe they just didn't want to deal with it as Vayne. I don't know. A Leona ban is a little questionable to me. It's okay, but it's not as good as some other bans in my opinion. They then have a Syndra mid on the opposite team, a Renekton top, a Lucian Morgana bot lane, and a Xin jungle. Xin is great if he snowballs early, but he's very early gank and counter jungle reliant. They've then banned out Kayle, LeBlanc, and Lee Sin. Lee Sin as a ban also is a little bit questionable. These could be targeted bans, I don't know that. But it seems a little odd when you could ban out other things. I'm surprised no one banned Braum, to be perfectly honest. For my opinion, Syndra is going to destroy Heimerdinger. Like, Heimerdinger can't play offensively. It doesn't work well for him. He needs to essentially set up his turret nest, free farm, poke a little bit, and then say, like, hey, come and try and dive me. It's not going to go well for you. But Syndra, she's going to land a stun and one-shot him. He doesn't have to dive. The only thing that it will really work well versus would be like Xin trying to jump in and dive him. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe he's an amazing Heimerdinger player. But just general matchups, I would expect Syndra to dominate that, especially seeing as you can throw away his ulted turret. The top lane Ryze versus Renekton. If Ryze plays well, he counters Renekton. But it is definitely a skill matchup. Because Ryze, I mean, he's mana hungry, he's position reliant, and he's super squishy early. It's really just dependent on how you play it. Then Vayne versus Braum. Braum is going to be able to protect her really nicely, but you have to remember that Vayne is still a relatively weak AD carry in lane and in the mid game, and Braum is defensive reliant. He's there to multiply the strength of your AD carry. Whereas on the opposite team, you're versus the quintessential we win lane sort of a matchup. Lucian, he dominates pretty much every lane. Morgana wins pretty much every lane. So they're going to have to play this really carefully and make sure they don't fall behind. I'm really concerned with Vayne. She really needs to farm well and not fall behind if she wants to remain useful in the late game. Because you're going to have to deal with a Syndra ulting you. You're going to have to deal with a Xin jumping on your face. You're going to have to deal with a Renekton being just up in your face. So it's really going to come down to how well Vayne plays. Unless the rest of the team just carries him. But yeah, that's something for him to keep in mind. Okay, any other questions while we load in? Oh, hey there, awful muffins. I'd rather delicious muffins, personally, but that's just me. You're loving the stream. Well, thank you so much, Scrublord. That means a lot. I really appreciate you appreciating me. Hey there, Ninja Panda. Yeah, I have like a minute or so while this loads in. If you guys do have any questions for me. Pax Timo, please. That would be awesome. So you're saying that my voice is a stimulant? Is that what you're saying? That I just like make you play better by talking and not actually saying anything? It's a depressant? Fuck you, Brian. I'm going to talk to you all the time then. Make you super depressed.
You do, especially at 11 o'clock.
It's true. How long have we been doing this? We've been streaming for about 10 months. We're slowly growing over time, trying to become a full-time streamer at the end. Like long-term goal, but right now we're just trying to scale up, build a community, and try and help people out in any way we can. Do you think that Thresh can carry you out of silver even when you main support? Of course. Any champion can carry you out of any rating. That being said, Thresh is one of the best, most consistent picks that you could pick for a support, and support is a great role for carrying solo queue games. You just need to adjust to the mindset that you're not a ward bot. That's not what supports are. They should be leading the team, they should be setting up plays, and they should be dominating the lane in terms of trades and kills and just awareness. So again, if you play support well, you will carry very easily, and Thresh is a phenomenal pick to do that. Why isn't Brian not streaming? He is essentially my, I guess you would call it coach, manager. I don't even know what you would refer to it. I guess manager would make sense. He manages the stream. He helps us with advertising. He pushes me to stream if I'm like not doing it. He works on partnership deals with any sponsors. He discusses any issues that viewers are having. He is essentially a full-time manager for the stream. Thoughts on brand support? Great if it snowballs, mediocre if not. It's very team reliant. You need advice to get out of bronze. Play consistently well. That same advice can be used for all regions or ratings, but as soon as you're looking at bronze, and I do not want to sound like I'm insulting bronze players, because your rating is not a reflection of your self-worth. It's simply a matter of how comfortable you are with the game and how much effort you're willing to put into practicing. There's nothing wrong with being a bronze player. But that being said, if you say, I am not a bronze player, I do not want to be in bronze, and I want to get out, what matters is how well you play on an average basis. I'm not saying go 10-1 every game and you're going to win. No, what matters is how you adjust to how the game is going. The team is feeding. Okay, how do you encourage them? How do you stop them feeding in the first place? How do you get ahead early and essentially snowball in your team's advantage? So again, I'm not for a second saying that you need to hard carry every single game in bronze. I'm saying what matters is consistent good play and teamwork. And that is especially true in bronze because a lot of people in bronze, they just have no clue how to end games or how to build advantages that they can push.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So starting builds, pretty standard here, except I don't like the ward start. Go potions, dude. You want potions. You really need them. You're going to get harassed out if not. Ruby Crystal's fine. Teleport's fine. Teleport's actually pretty much required on Rise if you want to be influential across the map. It's going to be versus a Doran's Shield. Pretty standard. Doran's Ring, Doran Blade. I mentioned earlier that I don't like ward starts on support. I prefer extra potions. I also prefer to have some utility masteries for biscuits and on-hit gold and stuff. But overall, both starts are fine. I'm a little bit surprised that he went for a mana potion, but given he's going full consumables, it's fine. What's a good advantage to push? Getting early kills, snowballing that advantage into roam or counter jungling, or even just map awareness like through wards and communication to help your team not get caught out, to help your team not fall behind. And then just general communication and leadership, cycling for objectives. So like you gank top, you get a double kill, you take the tower, you steal their blue and take dragon. You then time the blue buff, you invade it and kill their jungler when it comes up. It's all about decision making as you go through the game. Syndra just staying right mid. I don't like the mana potion starts on her. She should be going health potions in my opinion. Is Akali top good? Akali's actually pretty decent right now if you play her well. It's very matchup reliant as well. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this early laning phase. I would assume not much is going to happen mid lane. Beautiful bind coming in, a lot of pressure happening from Lucian. And this is what I mentioned. The purple side AD carry and support are so much more influential in early trades and early aggression. Whereas Vayne needs to passively farm and try and counter engages. And so same with Braum. He's not like a up in your face, I just win every trade early game sort of a character. So I really do want to keep an eye on this and how they play. Purple team I want to see playing very aggressively and setting up plays for themselves. Again, a nice binding. Purple team does have experience advantage. That's always something to keep in mind. They're going to hit level 2 first, and they need to push that advantage right as they level up. Unfortunately, they did not in this case. No, flaming is never acceptable. There's never a reason to insult your teammates. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Alright, so as I mentioned, Rise started no potions. I don't know what he expects to have happen here. Like, I don't like that start. He needs to work on his last hitting. you don't just auto-attack the wave. You stand and wait until it's low health, and then you auto-attack. He's just missed like every CS in this wave. He's at 4 CS. Like, again, not insulting him as a player, but that's something you need to work on. Practice in a custom game. Like, again, you're missing all of these CS. That's a lot of skills being used by Syndra. She's running really, really quickly. I think that's probably why she started these mana potions. Be comfortable with last hitting with auto attacks. And then you won't need those mana potions and you'll be able to play more aggressively. Nice Q coming in, but nothing really going to come from it bot lane. How do you carry people like Ryze and Bronze? Ryze isn't doing anything wrong. He's just not that great a CSer at this point. Just focus on building up your own advantages. It doesn't matter what Ryze is doing. It matters what you are doing. I really like the aggressive sort of I'm putting myself in harm's way and just blocking out your aggression playstyle that Braum is using. That being said, I wish that Vayne would follow it up a little bit better. She could have landed some extra auto attacks in that, and maybe even got the stun, and that would have been a lot of extra damage. Yeah, you don't have to babysit Ryze. I mean, if he's falling behind or, God forbid, feeding, giving him a kill isn't going to solve the problem. Focus on what you can do, not what he can do. Honestly, and again, I want to be very clear here, I'm not insulting Ryze, but if I was on this team, I would probably be using him as bait. I'd be like, okay, Renekton's shoved all the way up and trying to kill Ryze and going super aggressive versus him. So in my opinion, that's great. Ryze is great, really easy bait. I'm going to come roam top and just take the kill. It doesn't matter to me if Ryze dies at that point, although obviously, yes, you do want him to live. But if it was me, I'd be getting up behind Renekton and just going, hey, free kill. And again, it's not insulting him. I'm just saying that's probably the playstyle I would aim for if I was in lower elo there. Well, Renekton's going very, very heavily to try and kill Ryze, so you can use that to your advantage and get free kills off of it. Alright, Lucian's having some last hit issues as well. Vayne's actually doing a really good job. She's about 8-9 CS up, and she's going to be building up even more CS of an advantage here. So yeah, good job. That was one of my concerns, is she going to fall behind in farm? If I was Ryze, go get your tier as soon as you can. Like, you need it to start stacking up. The only reason you would camp bot is if you personally can 100 to 0 them or whatever health they're at. In my opinion, if I'm ganking a lane, I need to be able to secure the kill on my own. If my bot lane goes AFK, my gank still needs to work. I only do really safe ganks. Alright, so something to keep in mind on Ryze is when you auto-attack a champion like that, it makes all the minions attack you. So he's actually going to lose trades because he's auto-attacking Renekton. So general rule of thumb is turret attacks melee minions twice, then you hit them. Caster minions you attack once, turret hits once, you attack once. That's something he needs to keep in mind. I mentioned last thing, I'll leave it, I'm not going to harp on it too much. But he does need to practice that. Back mid lane. Heimerdinger obviously has a lot of farm because of his turrets, but Syndra does have a pretty decent, even amount of farm. Alright, Lucian, same problem. Not managing the wave properly and not CSing properly. So again, practice in a custom game. Work on your last hitting skills. You need to not have to focus on it. It needs to just come naturally to you, so practice on all of your main characters. Alright, so Vi is level 6 now, so I'm waiting to see what sort of gank she tries to set up. This would not be a good gank. Like, you have less health, you're lower level, you have less items, so ganking that is not worthwhile. Wait until Rise is there and you're higher health, and yeah, you could probably set something up. In the meantime, they are going to be giving blue buff over to Syndra. Rule of thumb for me is never leave a jungle camp up for more than 30 seconds, or expect to have it stolen. So Vayne has finished her Cutlass. It's going to be an easy kill potential once Braum hits level 6. If, let's say, they dodge out of a Morgana binding, Braum could easily set up a double kill for Vayne, using her ult, her heal, her Cutlass. Like, she has a lot of potential here. In the meantime, Vi is coming bot. This is a great decision. Get Braum level 6, though. There it is. Xin is coming for the counter gank. They see that coming in, yet they're still trying to fight. Braum ult this way. Perfect. Cut them off. Vayne, oh, actually, the kill goes over to Vi, but Vayne does turn on to Morgana. Great kill there. Oh, kill actually goes over to Braum. I'm surprised Vayne's not finishing these herself. At this point, you have a choice. You can try and take Tower, which is at full health and has someone defending it, or you can take away Dragon. Dragon is the free, easy objective. You have 3 people here, take it. Instead, Vi is opting to go back to base. I dislike that decision. You just gave up about 1,000 gold for your team. Dragons are super important. Take them anytime you can get them for free. In the meantime, great Condemn, and Vayne is going to pick up a kill here. I'm actually surprised she didn't use her ult in the initial fight. Like, that's a great kill, and it's a good decision to do that kill. But I still think Dragon was the easy, free, safe objective. She still has her Cutlass, too. Wow. So yeah, she could have used either of those 2 things to ensure that she got those kills and was able to snowball off of it. Like, Braum or Vi getting kills is not the end of the world, but it would have been better if she took those. Oh, that was an unfortunate binding. Alright, some misclicks there. She's breaking her silver bolts, but doesn't matter. So he's actually opted to go for Catalyst the Protector before Tier. No, go Tier first because it's super cheap. It gives you incredibly good mana regen, and it's going to scale up well for late game. Yes, you do want both, but there's no reason to rush a Catalyst when you could have a Tier stacking in the meantime. The Brutalizer rush on Renekton is a little odd to me. If I were him, I'd probably be getting a Tiamat so that he could cancel out his stuns. I'm assuming everyone knows this by now, but if you stun on Renekton, it quote-unquote locks you in place for the full animation. But if you use a Tiamat, it cancels the animation and you can immediately go do something else. Yeah, don't try and do that fight. There's no mana. That was poor decision making. Pay attention to your laner's resources. There's no way that he could help that fight. He had no mana. In the meantime, Vayne is picking up a rather heavy CS advantage in this bot lane, and I like the decision to freeze a wave there. Braum has his ult and exhaust up. He could engage here. Instead, he's opting to do a sweep. Honestly, if I were him, just walk up behind them, auto-attack Q, auto-attack, and then ult them, and Vayne should be able to clean that up. Make sure you're communicating it well beforehand, though, obviously. In the meantime, top lane is probably going to get dove. If I were Xin, stick around. He's super low health. I mean, just push in the wave with Renekton, and then dive. Looks like Vi is coming up for a counter gank, so good decision on her part if that were to happen. But Xin does not end up going for it. I'm going to rewind that. This is probably exactly what I said should happen. So he doesn't actually go behind, but he does land the free stun, ult across them, and now Vayne is free to clean up the fight. They land the stun, canceling out the ult. Exhaust goes down, very low health. Nice teamwork there, and gets the free double kill. That could have been played a little bit more smoothly by proccing an auto attack onto Lucian, because the ult and Black Shield had already been used from Morgana, so they could have easily immediately switched target over to Lucian and made that fight less risky. In the long term, it worked out very nicely, though. What if someone AFKs during the workshop? They are permanently banned from the workshops in all future games. Same if they're raging. I'm surprised Syndra is not having more kill potential in this lane. Yeah, I would expect her to be like comboing in on him all the time and constantly destroying his turrets. That's not the route she seems to be taking, though. Interesting. Yeah, so not a whole lot going on the map right now. No one has attempted Dragon yet, and that really makes me cry a little bit. Bot lane is very far ahead. They could easily just try and set up something bot lane and then turn that into a Dragon Tower, blue invade, anything they want. Blue is, I believe, 2 minutes left because they did it really late for some reason. Zin's coming down for a gank. Morgana ult is 20 seconds, but she has an exhaust. Walking over ward, though, so that is just going to walk their own way. The black shield is not actually up. Switch targets. Nice tumble. And the re-engage. Black shield does save him, though. Alright, so Xin does escape the angry Vi. Alright, so there's some pings going down on Dragon. Vayne is healing up relatively quickly, so they can do this. The Morgana ult is back up, though. They know the exhaust is down. Brahm's exhaust is still a minute away, but he has ult. So this is a relatively safe play. They can actually just duo this if they really need, but in the meantime, Vayne is coming up to make sure that it's going to go in their favor. Alright, so they need to keep the timer on that. That's going to respawn around 21 minutes in. I can't see the exact chat timer. And Vayne goes in. Very nice teamwork. A really good bait coming in from Braum, to be honest. And that's going to be a double kill. Very nice. Just really good teamwork between this Braum and Vayne. Meanwhile, Ryze is getting some steamrolling here. He's finished up his Rod of Ages. Still no tier, which is questionable, but he can do what he wants. And he's putting the pain back onto Renekton. Renekton did get 3 kills, so I mean he has a decent advantage, but he's no longer ahead in farm. So good job evening that out.
Unstoppable.
Another kill over to Vayne. That is the exact opposite of what they want to be happening here. So Renekton, I'm assuming, is just going to wait until this pushes in. As Ryze, you need to notice that. Why are you pushing in, right? You're just feeding him free farm when you could just freeze the wave as close to your tower as possible. I mean, even in the middle is fine. Never let him come close to minions. Alright, so Ryze gets another kill. Very nice. That could have been done a little bit cleaner, but still good job. Syndra doesn't seem to be cycling her cooldowns all that well. Okay, so blue is back up. Looks like Zin's going to take it away this time. He did offer it, but Syndra doesn't seem to want it. Okay, so here's the thing. She's landing her stuns, but she's never following them up. Even if it's just a Q. I mean, she could have QW'd, she could have QW ulted. There's so many different plays she could be doing here. And it's not as though she's low on mana. One Q is going to kill these towers. Q and an auto attack at worst case. Alright, so Vi is coming mid. The stun goes down, ult goes down. No ignite, though. It really bothers me. Syndra's, mechanically, she's doing fine. But in terms of how she's trying to do this matchup, it's just very risky. She's taking a lot of risks for no real reason. In the meantime, Vi's gank is obviously cancelled out, and Vayne is still just destroying them every time they can land any sort of an engage. It's not really worth paying much attention to bot lane at this point because they are so far ahead. They've done their job. They've got Vayne fed, they've got Vayne farmed, and Braum, as I mentioned in the early game, is going to protect her very well and set up fights for her incredibly well. Nice, Ryze getting down some wards. Good decision there, seeing as they are going to try and camp him probably. Nice, Syndra's farm is fine, but I really want to see her playing more aggressively. Alright, a little bit of whiff skill shot there. Not a big deal though. Alright, this is also a good decision. You let the tower kill as many minions as possible before you finish it off. It denies a little bit to your enemy team. It's not huge, but it's a nice little thing to keep in mind. Hey, congrats to the winner of our giveaway. We're going to send that to you at the end of this match. Alright, so back top lane, we have Xin landing a counter gank, but Renekton and Ahri taken far too low to try and follow up these fights. And he's just going to go back to base. Syndra, clear out the turrets. Yeah, Vayne's mechanics are really good here. Oh, not quite able to create enough range. But the flash goes down, and that should be a kill from the red buff. Yeah, this Vayne's just beast moding it at this point. We may need to graduate her. Ryze going pretty beast mode here. I mean, he's already bullied out Xin and going quite heavily onto Renekton. At this point, he has finished up his Tear of the Goddess. That was my early concern, that he didn't get it and wasn't sort of stacking it up. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. I just wish he would have worked on his early laning phase a little bit more. His teleport is back up. I would like to see him actually leaving this lane. He's pretty low on mana and on health. I would not be surprised if he dies here. There it is. Yeah, it's not even worth paying attention to the bot lane anymore. They're just so far ahead. Any fight they land for themselves is going to be a victory. Vi trying for mid yet again. Connects on to Syndra. The stun goes down, ult goes down, and that's a very dead Syndra. Ult was a little late there, but didn't really end up mattering. I believe Dragon is up again. Yeah, it is spawned. I would like to see them moving towards that. Heimerdinger and Vi could actually two-man that. They could take it away very, very quickly and continue to snowball their advantage. They're already about a 10,000 gold up at 21 minutes into the game, so that's really good for them. In the meantime, they do actually take down bot lane. It looks like, yeah, it's just them diving super deep. They're caught inside the base. And Xin shows up and cleans up. So good job on Purple Team picking that up. Xin had a lot of early issues with his ganks. As I said in selection, Xin is only good if he snowballs early, and that didn't happen. So that's really unfortunate for him. Again, take away your dragon anytime you can. Alright, so they do take away a kill on Xin. He tries to teleport to safety, not gonna happen. In the meantime, Vi and everyone goes down for a free dragon. Good job there. May as well. There we go. We're back to real time anyways. And another kill goes on to Vayne. At this point, honestly, if I was purple team, I probably would be asking myself, what could I have done better? And my answer to that is shut down the Vayne early. Well, that's kind of obvious, I would say. In terms of how to do that, though, they need to make sure that Vayne is pushed towards their side. They tended to just sort of push Vayne into tower and give her free farm. She farmed well under tower, and as a result was able to get her essentially just get rolling and snowballed. Xin trying to go in onto Heimerdinger. That's a questionable target. Braum re-engages with ult, and that's going to be a triple kill. And a tower. Yeah, they needed to position closer to their tower, allow Xin to come in early and get snowballed himself, and just generally try and set up some plays. Yes, Ryze did try to flash teleport. They cancelled it. They killed him before the teleport could complete. Alright, Vayne's stun goes down. Oh, and unfortunately, manly Braum does get taken down at the end. Renekton trying to come in behind. This is a dangerous position to be in. I know that you want to kill Vayne, but at what cost? In this case, probably your own life. Heimerdinger just going to reset up his turret base. There's nothing technically wrong with placing that turret there, but I'm questioning why he used the ult that early. He could have just saved it. In the meantime, Vayne is just going to take the tower. I think she should have focused the champions, but she still gets one kill. Honestly, though, she could have got at least 2 or 3 kills there if she tried, and then taken the tower. Vi getting split push done top. I actually really like that decision. I don't agree with Ryze going back up there, though. He could just go by. Like, you're super low. Your teleport's coming up in 15 seconds. Why not just go back to base? Heal up, get an item advantage, and then reset. I'm seeing a lot of people here, actually, stay at really low health with no purpose. They're not accomplishing anything by staying. They're just saying, hey, look, I'm super low. Do you want to kill me? And that's a really annoying thing to see. Oh, very nice stun. Again, the fact that he's living is unnerving me. I haven't actually seen an Iceborne Gauntlet Vi in a while. It's not a bad pick. Ooh, Renekton gonna take him down, but immediately he will get killed by the towers. That is a free turret. They're going to be able to take away Inhibitor as well. Syndra and Renekton both dead. Not much defense going on here. Oh, actually, Vayne's not in position, and Vi decides not to stay. So they may be able to defend this. Dodging out of the the binding. Vayne is here, and she's actually going to probably be taken down. Vi's back in the fight. A lot of life still happening from Vayne, not able to take out the Morgana. Just concerned there, she was standing in Tormented Soil. She could have created a little distance waiting for Vi to show up, and then re-engaged once she was there. I think that would have made that go a little bit easier, but in the long term, I mean, that was a great fight. She put out a lot of damage, and overall, good job. Alright, so this is an issue I see with a lot of people. Mid lane is down. You don't need to be here anymore. You're not ending the game, so why are you standing mid? I understand that he wants those minions, but at this point, go back to base. Go buy, go accomplish something else on the map. At this point, you want to push the side lanes. Forcing a Baron would be a great decision. It really is unfortunate that Syndra wasn't able to get the ball rolling. Haha, I'm so witty. Because she could have been the priority target killer. She would have been able to one-combo Vayne if she went too deep. She would have been able to push turrets out of the way. She would have been able to maybe combo in Ryze. I think snowballing Syndra would have been their best bet to really get this game rolling in their favor. Alright, another good kill, but again, there's no reason to be that far out. You're not with your team, you're not able to defend anything. This is a matter of people taking risks that don't gain them anything. There's no reason to be there. Ooh, maybe a penta. The Quadra! Oh, Lucian, can you get it? Yes, the pentakill! Congratulations, Vayne. Good guy Braum tanking up the fountain for her. Right, and that is going to be the end of the game. Good job on ending it here, blue team. I see a lot of people making the mistake of just sort of stalling it out far too long. But really good play overall. And we're going to reset this and get on to the next match. Yeah, Vayne did really well. Okay, so let's do a really quick rundown of final builds, playstyles, decision-making. As I was mentioning at the end of the game, I think camping for Syndra and trying to get her snowballed would probably be the best option that they would have had, because Syndra has phenomenal burst. If Syndra was, not insulting her, but if she was maybe a little bit more comfortable with the champion, maybe camping for her a little bit more, maybe a little bit more damage in her build. Looked like she was going for death cap, which I don't agree with. She would have been able to, let's say, one-shot Vayne. Take out Vayne, well, there's most of their kills gone. That's 28 kills. Taking her out of the fight, boom, you've pretty much just won the team fight. So that would have been a priority that they could have focused on, is just getting her super, super fed. Bot lane, I had some issues with the general positioning and playstyle of Lucian and Morgana. They had some issues with last hitting under tower. They had issues with just constantly pushing the wave so that they couldn't gank and try and shut down Vayne. Overall, some concerns there. I had a lot of issues with last hitting under towers. I mentioned it when I noticed it in the game, so please watch the games back once they're uploaded to YouTube. General build advice. Vayne's build is standard as normal. Ryze, I would like to see an earlier tier. Once the tier's done, you don't actually need to upgrade it right away. You can then translate over into the Frozen Heart to give yourself CDR, armor, that sort of thing, and then you can upgrade it because the tier will actually be stacked at that point. So that would be a good option there. Heimerdinger, not really any complaints. I'm surprised he didn't go for an Hourglass, but he didn't need it in this match. I've not seen an Iceborne Gauntlet Vi in a while, but it does work on her, so not any real complaint there. Braum, really, really good teamwork with Vayne. I don't know if they're a duo or something sometimes, but they were always on the same page. They were following up each other's play. They were communicating phenomenally well. So great job. Great job. Lucian, on the other hand, they needed to communicate better between Lucian and Morgana. And Renekton, I think he could have avoided pushing so hard. Both Ryze and Renekton had the same issue in lane. Whenever they were ahead, they would push in and give their opponent free farm and a way back into the game. Whenever they were behind, it didn't really matter. They were always pushed into tower so they could refarm and try and get back into the game. So I would like to see them work on lane positioning, wave management, and just general positioning in these lanes. But overall, no huge complaints in terms of playstyle there that I didn't mention during the game. The builds are okay, no real complaints, and we're going to move on. For those of you who want to play in these games, please join the proper chat rooms, P4N mid, P4N top, P4N